want to talk to you today about the changing face of construction. And one of the first things you always get asked is, what do you do as a job? And right now, I've got the best answer I've ever had, because I get to lead a team, including these two, and we get to design infrastructure that then carries a tube of metal about 1/2 kilometre long, filled with about 1,000 people, and we get to hurl that tube of metal across European countrysides at the speed of about 1/3 of the speed of sound. So it's quite fast. And my job is a construction project director in high-speed rail projects. So what I want to talk to you about today, if the pointer will work. No. Oh, there we go. He's on the keyboard. One more. Okay. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I got into doing this job. And then I'm going to talk about how you could maybe be the new faces of construction. Okay? So back when I started, it was in 1990. The first World Wide Web server had only just been built. There was a time before internet. That's what a mobile phone looked like. The Cold War had finished, but the Gulf War had started. And Jason and Kylie reigned supreme in the charts. And I was about 15 years old, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was bright. I had good education, but I didn't want to go to university. And so I decided to apply for some YTS schemes, which is like the modern day apprenticeships, okay? And I didn't know what I wanted exactly. And that's me with my Kylie perm when I was 15. Can't believe I'm shooting that photograph up. Don't you dare take any pictures. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want a boring office job. I wanted to earn money right now, but I also wanted to continue to earn and earn more. So to do that, I had to learn. And that's why I applied for apprenticeships. So I applied for an apprenticeship with British Gas, with Weir Pumps, and also with British Rail. And I ended up taking the apprenticeship with British Rail because they offered me one in civil engineering. I didn't actually know what a civil engineer was at the time, but what I did know is that the government paid £42 a week on a YTS scheme, and the railway doubled it. So I get £84 a week, and I was a millionaire. And that was why I ended up picking civil engineering. But that's what got me started in my career. And since then, I started out on site on the tools. I moved into the drawing office. I've worked for some fantastic companies. We've created brand new railways and new roads and new hospitals, etc., all over the UK. I did end up getting a master's degree. So my mum did get to come to my graduation. She did finally get to watch me wearing my graduation gown. But that was a number of years. That was 15 years after I'd started working. And that whole time, I'd been earning and learning at the same go. So what do I love about my job? Well, I mean, some of these structures are absolutely fantastic. And to get to be involved in that type of project is phenomenal all the way around the world. But the thing that I love the most is that that bridge might be stunning, but that bridge connects people to other people. It means that people can go to get to work. It means that children can get to a hospital faster if they're ill. So what we do as civil engineers and what we do in construction and what we do when we're building railways is actually making a huge difference to society. And you also get to do a lot of really exciting stuff at the same time. So that's a little bit about my story, but what about you and construction and whether you guys could be the new faces of construction? So to help answer that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the world around you, because it's certainly not like the world around me when I started work before the internet. These jobs didn't even exist 10 years ago. And yet these roles are all in the now modern day construction world. And this is another fantastic bit of information. I love this. It took 75 years for the telephone to be used by 50 million users. In my generation, it took 4 years for the World Wide Web to reach out to that many people. And yet more recently, more akin to your generation, Angry Birds took 35 days to get to 50 million users. So for the first time in history, we've got 5 generations of people working together. And they're all from different generations. They've all grew up working in a very different way. Different technology helps them in the workplace. And they've all grown up communicating very differently. I was email me generation, you're Facebook me. And we've certainly grown up gaming very differently with the gaming technology. And it's this gaming technology that makes you guys so well placed for the new face of construction, because it's not all about muddy boots and builders' backsides. What can happen in the construction industry now is absolutely phenomenal, and most of it is enabled by digital engineering. So as I said, engineering changes the world around you. Some of the projects that you can be involved in are fantastic, but how we're constructing them is changing as well. So let me just start off with digital engineering, because this is the enabler. Everything that we do now is built in the virtual reality. We build what's called a 6D model, not 3D. It starts off as 3-dimensional, which is simply the structure or whatever else and all the electrical work and all the clash detection. But then we add in cost, so we understand how much every component costs. Then we add in time, and that's us up to 5D, and that's us helping to understand everything in terms of the time sequence of how this thing is going to be built. So what we do is we build it virtually first, test it all, then we build it for real. And because we've built it digitally, we can identify components now in buildings, in bridges, that are common, that are that you can get repetition from. And what we can do now is manufacture them in factories. So there's no longer the need to continually be building stuff out on site when you can manufacture a component in a factory environment using digital technology and robots, using 3D printing. There's a bridge in Amsterdam coming over the canals right now that's been built totally by 3D printers and robots. So after we've manufactured the components, we then need to assemble them on site. And this is when you start to use some of the huge lifting techniques in the cranes and such like to get this precision placement of the components that have been manufactured off site to create some of the amazing structures that you'll see on the London skyline. So that's the new face of construction, and that's why you, with your techniques, with your skills, with your connection with technology, is why it's a fantastic industry that's ready for your skills to move into it. But don't take my words. I've got a video here.
I always wanted a job that would allow me to travel. But now I'm transforming the way everyone travels. And making UK rail faster than ever.
I always wanted the best toy in the box. This one's 1,000 tons and lays a kilometre of track a night. It's awesome.
I want to show the world that Britain can still lead the way in technology. My data systems make travel smarter and safer.
My friends always used to say I was a control freak. But when you've got 40 trains on your network at rush hour, control is everything.
I want to create components built to transform 21st century travel. My research gives the industry cutting-edge products and gives me the job I love.
I want to be part of the team making the big decisions. Sometimes a whole infrastructure project can depend on the solutions I provide.
I want to look back on my career and think, I really did something. And every time I look at the scale of this project, I think I have.
It's about being part of an incredible team with so many talented people dedicated to the same goal. It's about walking through an awe-inspiring workplace and knowing this is my office. It's everything I ever wanted.